Hello everyone, this is Akash here. Welcome to my channel. In this video, I'm going to talk about how can you use Docker agents in Jenkins pipeline. Okay, so let's go with the agenda. So as part of the agenda, first we will be discussing about understanding Docker agents and why Docker agents are being used. Okay, then we are going to create a sample job to run using the Docker container agent. And then we are going to create a build and deploy pipeline job, and we are going to use the new container per stage option. Okay, so first of all, what is Docker agent? Okay, so Docker agent is nothing but instead of using the VM, we are going to use the Docker agent. So if you don't know what is Docker and how Docker container is being used, maybe you can go and check my previous video. I'll probably keep the link in the description below, where I've explained that what is Docker and a very good comparison between Docker container and virtual machines. Okay, so first of all, we should understand that why do we use Docker agents? Okay, so in my previous examples, I have explained all my Jenkins demo using Linux VM as an agent or Jenkins master as an agent. But in the real-time scenario, you might not have the privilege to use Jenkins agent as VM due to the resource crunch or the infrastructure cost saving. Okay, because if you talk about the real-time scenario, for example, your test cycle, your build cycle, or your deployment, so all these cycles run on a particular release time or in a given time. Okay, so you're not going to run all these jobs 24 into 7. Hence, using Docker containers on demand is going to be a big saving from the infra cost point of view. Okay, so that's the reason we are going to use Docker agents. So if you see the first line, by mentioning Docker, the pipeline will run in the Docker environment. So syntax is going to be agent, and then you have to use Docker, and under that you have to provide your image name. So as part of the syntax, you have to use the image name. For example, if you're using Ruby, if you're using a Docker container of Ruby, you have to provide image space Ruby 3 colon, then you have to provide a tag, either develop or any release version of Ruby. And then if you want to create a label for your Docker agent, you have to provide the name as label and the name of the label, like for here in this example it is test Ruby agent. And then if you want to pass any argument, then you can pass it like this, like hyphen port, and then the port which you want to open for the exposed port 80. Okay, so that's how you can basically create your Docker agent. Now let's go and create a demo. So this is my Jenkins. I'm going to create a new job, Docker demo job, and this is going to be a pipeline job. Okay, so this is a GitHub URL. This is my own repository. I have created all my Jenkins pipeline examples over here. I'm going to share this as part of this video. So I'm just going to use this particular example. So let's go to the pipeline. Okay, so you can see over here that I'm creating a pipeline where inside the agent I'm defining, instead of defining the agent name, I'm just defining the syntax as Docker and the image as Ubuntu latest. Okay, so here in this case my agent is going to create a container, and that container is going to be the Ubuntu base layer. Okay, and then inside the stage it is going to use the same Docker container. So as part of the stage, I'm just running inside the Docker container to fetch my Ubuntu release version. Okay, so this cat etc lsb release is going to print the version of my Ubuntu and all the other details. Okay, so similarly in the deploy also I'm going to do the same activity. Okay, so let's save this one and run my job. Okay, so my build has failed. Okay, so why does it fail? So it says that got permission denied while trying to connect to the Docker daemon. Okay, so yeah, so sometimes you might get this error. Oh, okay, so you basically, this Docker sock is nothing but it is a Unix socket. So your Docker daemon is going to understand everything from this particular Docker file. Okay, so it is giving this error because your Jenkins user doesn't have the permission to fetch the information from this particular Docker socket. So let's go to the machine. Okay, just go to etc, see all the users. So you have your Jenkins user here, and the user ID is 114 and the group ID is 118. Okay, so if you want to know more information about it, maybe you can go to the Linux fundamentals, user and groups fundamentals. Okay, so let me know if you want me to create any videos for this. So you have to give the permission of the docker sock file to this user ID. Okay, so chown is the permission to change the ownership for this file. Okay, so it says operation not permitted because I have to run it using sudo. Now it is done. So let's try running it again. And yeah, this time you can see over here it is running fine now. Yeah, so it is successful. So now let's go step by step in the logs. So as part of the logs, you can see over here that the Jenkins first created a container over here, and this is my Ubuntu latest container. Okay, and this is my container ID, and inside the container ID my first stage is, that is build stage build got executed, and it ran this particular command, that is cat etc lsb release, and it provided all this information, that is the distribution ID is Ubuntu, the release is 20.04, and the code line is focal, and all this other details like description is 20.04 LTS long-term support and all those details. And similarly for the deploy stage also, it ran the same activity. Okay, the same command, and all these details has been provided here. And once all these things are done, here you can see the magic, that once docker provides all the information, all the activities, once docker does all the activities, it is going to stop the container, and it is also going to remove the container. So that's the beauty of creating docker container on demand, and it is also going to delete the container at the end. So this is a great saving from the infrastructure point of view. Okay, so you're not going to keep any container or any machine idle for your jobs to be triggered. Okay, so every time whenever you run a job, it is going to create a new agent, and once your job activity is done, it is going to destroy that particular agent. Okay, so now here in this case you can see that both my build and deploy activity has been done using the same container. What if I want a separate docker container for both of my stages? Okay, so in that case you have to go to the configure, and inside the agent you have to use this particular option of new container per stage. Okay, so now what this particular option is going to do, it is going to create a new container for each and every stage. Okay, so let's save this one and run this particular job again. Okay, it got failed. Okay, because of some syntax error. Okay, there was one extra bracket, so let's save this one. So now you can see the build is now successful. So let's go to the log again. So here in this case you can see over here that as part of the first stage it created a container, and the container ID is this one, that is B906 and remaining things. Okay, and inside the build stage it is running my cat etc lsb release version. Okay, and then after this particular stage, that is my build stage, it is going to stop my container, and it is also going to remove my container. And again in the new stage it is going to create a new container, and it is going to run all these details again in the deploy stage. And once the deploy stage is completed, it is stopping my container and it is removing my containers. So that's the beauty of having separate containers for both of your stages, so that you can actually create your environments based on what stage you have. For example, in real-time scenarios also, you are not using the same agent for both your build and deploy as well as your test activities. You keep always separate machines for build activity, a separate machine for deploy activity, and a separate machine for your test environments, like for your unit test, for your Selenium test, and also for the like security test as well. Okay, so that's the main advantage of using new container per stage option. Okay, so that's all for this video. Thanks a lot for watching. Please like, share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.